Just when you thought LGBTQ plus jobs were safe.
Boom! COVID. Welcome to GayTalk 2.0, the ultimate podcast for your dose of dish. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of GayTalk 2.0, an LGBT podcast streaming live on Digital Stream Radio, where you can access that live stream every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you can do so by visiting digitalstreamradio.com. On today's show, we're going to welcome our guest, Katie Sgarro. She's the co-founder of AsylumConnect. AsylumConnect is a nonprofit organization providing first tech resource platform. Let me read that again. We've had a lot of tequila. AsylumConnect is a nonprofit organization providing the first tech resource platform for those fleeing persecution due to sexual orientation and gender identity.
Good job, Tom.
Yes, right. Thank you.
Proud of you.
So my name is Tom, as he mentioned, and of course, usually I'm here with all of the co-hosts, but there's a lot of them missing today, and so I'm just stuck with
Hey, y'all. Nick or Trish?
Trish, and welcome you all to the show.
The
So,
dish?
The dish, yeah. You want to do that? And welcome you all to
The dish.
Okay.
So let's just talk about how inconsistent our guests, our co-hosts have been. What is going on?
Yeah, like you and you, like you and you. Where are you?
It is not my job to book our co-hosts. It's my job to book our guests.
That's
Come
right.
on.
So no, Chris is of course stuck in Massachusetts at work, somewhere up there. Even though she don't go there anymore, but she's there. And Elsie had other engagements that unfortunately she couldn't cancel, so she won't be with us for the next 2 weeks. But once again, we're here, we're queer, we're loud, and we'll all be together again.
Wait, you're queer?
Very.
Same.
Very, 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 very. So anyway, so I'm excited for today's guest. AsylumConnect is new technology, new app that's coming out. And really, it's going to change the game in the way that members of the LGBT community worldwide can seek help and assistance in fleeing countries that are persecuting people just for simply being gay. And I think that is a beautiful thing. So I'm excited to have Katie on the show. Join us. She'll be with us in the second half. And but we're just gonna, talk about what's been going on in the past week. There's a lot of developments, both personally and, of course, in story-wise, that we would like to sort of kind of discuss. So I'm going to toss it to Trish because she's had a knot in her throat for the better part of 3 days now that she just sort of kind of needs to talk about. And I wanted to give you the floor to do that.
Okay, thank you. So I didn't know if I was gonna actually talk about this on the show, but then I was like,
You don't have to. I'm just saying you don't have to. I'm not forcing you to, but you can.
No.
And we did mention something about it, in the previous week where you didn't know where you stood, and
Yeah, no.
so.
So,
But it's up to you.
long story short,
Make it short.
my job got eliminated, and I no longer have a job at the theater that I've worked for 7 years.
I'm sorry to hear that, baby.
And I knew it was coming, but I thought it was going to be a furlough, but it wasn't a furlough, which was, I think, the hardest part. And I was pretty upset at first. And then, I don't know what happened, but
What
what
happened was
what?
I don't know.
What
But
had
that's-
happened was
yeah,
a
that's
couple
normally-
people found out, and people have been reaching out, and I actually have an opportunity for another job prospect that I'm going to be investigating tomorrow, which is exciting, very different, very new. But yeah, no, I was upset and I was scared and sad because I've been there for so long,
Yeah.
but now I'm feeling liberated and I'm feeling relieved. I feel good. I'm gonna take time for me, at least a month, and just do me and hopefully lose my quarantine gut, because this is gotta go. It's gotta go. But it, and I talked to my previous boss today, and my previous boss's boss today, and I think they were kind of taken
I
it
gotta move
back
this over.
because I was like so positive.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like now is the time. Like I've been given an opportunity, and like I can't wait to see what that yields. Like
Yeah.
I think my life is going to be changing for the better, and so I'm excited. Am I sad, and do I get choked up when I think about going into my office on Wednesday to clean it out? Yeah, like yeah, I've been there for 7 years. That's a relationship. I'm grieving it. But
And a lot of people don't realize that. So, for example, you spend 40 plus hours a week at work, right? The average person does. And that's a family. You spend more time at work with your coworkers than you do with your actual family. Because when you get out of work at a normal time, like maybe 3, 4, 5 o'clock, you only have until like maybe 9, 10, 11 before you're ready to go to bed. And really, how much quality time do you have with your actual family? And so, therefore, it's a family, and
mhm,
you go through a grieving process.
yeah, and like I have to say, like as much as I am going through that process, I would never. I have, yes, some animosity and anger toward the institution right now because I am grieving. Not any individual that I worked with or will work with maybe in the future, but I still want to see the theater succeed, and like I'm still so proud of the gala, and I'm still so proud of the fact that we raised that amount of money, and I know that the theater will have a beautiful future. And I know that in some way not in some way. I know that in a big way I was a part of that.
Yeah.
And I love theater, and I love Long Wharf Theater, and I'm excited to see where it goes, and I'm excited by the direction of the theater, and I get why the cuts were made. I mean, to be honest, and I don't know if I should really even say this, but I'm going to. Cutting my position probably allowed for 2 people, and I know that, knock on wood, that I'm gonna be all right. And those 2 people that still have a job, maybe they would have had more of a struggle than me. But
Yeah.
I know that I have faith that I'm gonna be all right.
I wholeheartedly believe that you build successful relationships for you and the theater, and I know that you're going to land on your feet, and like you said, you want to take some time for yourself, and be able to just take some time and say, okay, I'm going to get out there, right? But you're grieving, you need to go through that process, and that takes time.
Yeah,
And so take your time.
yeah. And if you
Seriously, take it.
if you need to like throw out anything you want to throw out because you're angry, or maybe light up your business cards on fire, that's fine.
Or replace all of your shades, or go do some impulsive buying. That's
No,
also
don't do impulsive buying if you lost your job. Don't do that.
that's fine too. Not
Uh,
really, but it is. But no, I will tell you this. I have seen you grow as a person throughout all of your career at Long Wharf. I met you while you were employed at Long Wharf, right? And we've
that's why I
known each
moved here.
other
Yeah.
for the better part of what, maybe 6, 7 years since you moved here?
Yeah. So yeah,
A
no,
little after you
probably about
got
six
here.
and a half years. Yeah.
Yeah, and so one thing I've always admired about you is your dedication and your professionalism towards whatever you do. And that's why I have no doubt in my mind that you're going to be successful in whatever you endeavor to do going forward.
I appreciate that.
And so
Thank you.
you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You're going to be
I
fine.
and I know that, and I think and I think in a way the higher ups in my company knew that too. And I think that, like, in my conversations today, that they were like, okay, I think I made them feel better. And it sucks that like that was the role I sort of played for them, because I was.
You shouldn't have to play that role, first of all.
No, I know, but like at the
But
same
you
time,
did.
like this round of cuts wasn't expected. This
Hmm.
wasn't the team that they had created after the first, you know, cut was the team that they were moving forward with. So this, I think, was very, very hard on a lot of people.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's hard on me and it's hard on everybody. But like the reality is, I mean, at one point my boss was like, if you need to call me and you need to yell at me and you need to scream and you need to cry, do it. Call me. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. What you have given me is is more than I could have ever asked for. You gave me the opportunity to grow not only in my career but grow within the greater New Haven community.
Hmm.
And I think that's what's so great about it. I think everything happens for a reason,
It does.
and like I've always been a silver linings kind of guy,
Hmm.
especially after Matt passed away. But like I feel good. Like I have moments where I'm, like I'm mourning the fact that like I've been there for a long time, but I feel good.
I really do believe that you'll be okay. You know, take your time. I told you already what I thought you should do, but take your time, do what you need to do, find your core again, literally,
Literally, I know
and
because I have lost my core. I don't know where it
literally,
went.
and you're really, I see you bouncing back with no problem, and
So I think what's important to take away from this, right? I mean, like me, I think part of the reason why I wanted to share this on air is because I know that a lot of our listeners are probably in the same boat,
mhm.
and it's scary and it's tough. And for me, it's only been, a week. Um, but I think, like, in a lot of cases, look at it as like an opportunity. You know what I mean? Right now, there are a lot of programs in place. If you need help, there's help out there. And I am lucky because the theater did provide support. I will be supported through September in some capacity. Um, and I'm grateful for that. But the reality is, it's like you were employed for a reason and you were let go because of an epidemic, a pandemic. And that reason you were let go is not because of your performance. It's not because you're not good at your job. You're probably amazing at your job, and you're probably so employable. So just lean into it. Lean into the fact that like you're talented, and you can offer the world whatever you decide to offer the world.
That's right. And I, like I said before, I wholeheartedly believe you will be an asset to any endeavor that you decide to go with.
That being said, I am a free agent, so anyone listening, I'm
Yes.
just fucking around.
But just letting you know, she has a commitment every Monday and you can't take her away from me. Otherwise, I would kill her. That would be a bitter breakup.
I did apply for that job in DC
I
though.
know. That's okay. But we'll Skype you in. We'll figure it out. So, my neighbor. So, something happened today. I want to talk about that. Can I?
Yeah.
So my neighbor just sent me a text message and she goes like, "Hey Tom, did you take a picture of the ceremony today? If so, can you show them to me when you get a chance? Thanks in advance." What is she talking about? So we mentioned a little bit about this, actually a lot about this last episode. But my company has really stepped up its LGBTQ plus game, and they have really been, they literally went in balls deep to ensure that people like me in the company and other folks within the LGBTQ plus community, feel represented and feel valued and seen, etc. in the company. And so we've had this initiative. I joined a committee, Pride committee, that we're sort of kind of organizing, what we're going to do as far as how we're going to support the LGBT community in our space. And we've got guest speakers lined up, some of which have been on this show, others that are local, people that support our spaces locally, which is going to be amazing. But today at 10:30 in the morning, we had a ceremony, and they didn't have a flag.
pride flag.
Pride flag, and I had one, which was
Purchased by me.
oh, this bitch. She can never let me get one. It was a gift that Nick gave me for my home, and when the Supreme Court ruled that same-sex gender identity and same-sex couples could not be fired for being gay at work, I put it out in front of my house. And I plan to leave it there for as long as I needed to before winter came and sort of kind of destroyed it and send it to its death. But we had discussed during our committee that, maybe we should raise a flag, an LGBTQ flag, at our headquarters building, which is not too far away from me. And they agreed. They said, yeah, absolutely, we're all for it. And so this morning at 10:30 in the morning, I had to deliver my flag, my personal flag. Compliments of Nick. And just throw that out there. And I brought it over and I handed it to the security guy who had the crank in his hand. And the entire committee met, of course, with appropriate social distancing. And we raised the flag this morning at our headquarters building. My personal flag is flying over my corporate headquarters right now.
And you were wearing Mama Kim's mask.
That's right. And I was wearing my rainbow Mama Kim mask, which was amazing. And I had to get dressed up for like the first time in 3 months to go to this event. And I met the new CEO of our company and, of course, other notable, very high up management. And it was a beautiful experience. And the thought of my flag, it's not something the company bought, my personal flag flying over my corporate headquarters in a place that I work, that I've,
Oh, she's getting teary.
yes, given 14 years of my life so far, and maybe more, makes me feel seen and valued and important to an organization that, until now, we didn't have what we have, and we didn't have all the resources and all of the time and effort that they're spending in making sure their employees who are part of our community feel seen and valued. And that's important. And so I'm proud. I'm crying because I'm happy. I'm happy that I had that opportunity. And every single day, I drive by my office on the way to the supermarket or something, and I see my flag.
Bullshit. You changed your commute to work. It used to be he would wake up, go to the bedroom,
Literally. Like
leave his
today,
bedroom, walk across the hall to his office, and that was his commute. Today, it's I make myself a cup of coffee,
I'm
I
gonna
get in
get in
my
my
car
car.
and drive by headquarters, and then I'm gonna sit at my desk.
Every fucking day. I think that is mandatory for the entire month of June, and so I'm happy. I'm sorry, I'm getting all stuffy now
No,
because
that's amazing.
crying is horrible.
That's amazing because like a lot of companies wouldn't do something like that. And you're right. You are valued and you are seen. And the fact that like not only did they do a profile on your story, but you are involved in this amazing initiative which affinity groups and groups like that have been popping up everywhere. But the fact that this affinity group just came to be and is already producing so much visibility is so powerful, not only for you, but for every single person in that organization. And not just here, because your organization is regional. It's not just in our area, it's
Oh no,
everywhere.
it's where we have wind. So I work for a power company, and so we have resources in renewable energy. We have resources and companies in many aspects of the energy industry. And
In
so
the
we
tri-state area.
in the tri-state area and all over the US. And so we impact a lot of people every day with our services and making sure that we have reliable power and reliable gas and reliable wind and solar. And so we really are invested in the communities that we serve. And not only did my company choose me to be the first person that they would pick to donate last year, to an LGBTQ organization. But this year, it was just like my flag is flying over my corporate headquarters. What
Hmm.
employee could say that?
Yeah, it's amazing.
And it was beautiful. And I really took it all in. I stood there under that flagpole and watched that thing go up, and I stood proud with my Mama Kim rainbow mask and my coworkers applauding. And I have videos that, unfortunately I can't share because I don't have permission from my coworkers to share things like that on the show, but they're personal in their mind, and I have them, and it is something that I'm going to take with me until the day I die. It's
I
beautiful.
mean, that's really amazing. Yeah.
It really is.
And it's great to see, corporations. Yeah, in some way it is, changing with the times. It may be some type of political ploy, but at the end of the day, the fact that they care enough to make a statement matters. And that's when you see an influx of our community that want to work for an
Yep.
organization like that. And that's what we need right now. We need organizations to stand strong and say, "Hey, I'm not donating to Trump's campaign. Fuck you, Taco Bell. Fuck you, Chick-fil-A. Fuck you, Home Depot."
Hmm.
Like, what I'm doing is I'm supporting my local community, and I'm supporting my coworkers, and I'm supporting the LGBTQ plus community so that people want to work here
Yeah.
and know that this is a safe space to work in.
Yeah, and I got an opportunity to meet other members of the LGBTQ community from all over the world, right? We are a subsidiary of Iberdrola, and they're based out of Spain. So I got to meet this amazing gentleman from Spain, and he and his husband are living here, and they don't know anybody, and now they know someone else in the community, and we can all get together and sort of
And
kind of,
you're kind of like a big deal in the community.
yeah, sort of kind of. I mean, I don't feel like I am.
You're known.
I'm known, yes. Maybe for my sluttiness, but
Mm,
that's a different point. No.
but no, you're known for a few reasons, and yes, that is one of them.
Oh, bitch. Oh, God. I'm not even going to ask her the question, what reasons? But
You're a
listen,
bart. Like, how did I create my family when I moved to New Haven? I became a bartender. I
that's right.
literally,
Feed them alcohol. They'll love you.
well, it's not even that. It's like I met so many people through the bar. Some people, which
Yeah.
I'm like, no, not my thing. But a
Uh-huh.
lot of people, I created a family, and you're
That's right.
part of that family.
That's right.
And I mean, just last night we decided to have a Sunday fun day with one of our other bartenders, and we socially distanced and had played cards and had a cocktail, and we haven't done that in so long. I mean, I'm pretty sure one of our friends said, "I don't think I've seen you in 3 months."
In 3 months. And I was like, yeah, you haven't.
Yeah.
And I got a haircut. Wait. Look at this. Oh, she blew it out, honey. She was like sitting there with a blow dryer, and it was fabulous and all that good stuff. I literally threw everything down. But thank you, Paul Anthony. She was our previous co-host. She was on the show a long time ago. She's year 1 and year 2, and but she did a
Was it year
fabulous job.
2 or just year 1? I think it was
I
just year 1.
I think she was into year 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe no. She right after. Yeah,
Yeah.
year 1, year 1. She was gone long after that. But she cut my hair. Finally, I looked like I sort of got a weed whacker, wouldn't even be able to do miracles. So the fact that she was able to do something with all of this, thank you. That was amazing.
100%. Because I was sitting there like, I don't know what she gonna do.
Ooh. Yeah, I had literally layers of hair that were like coming out sideways.
What did he say you could be for Halloween if he left it there?
It.
That's right.
It.
It was just the dye it because it curled up.
Yeah,
Oh
literally,
my
it
God.
just
Yeah.
curled
Yep.
up, no problem. It was gonna be it. And but it is what it is. So anyway, it is 6:25 p.m. I'm super excited. Katie's joining us again from the organization in itself, AsylumConnect. So I'm going to take us to break. Let me take this thing off of automatic because it's driving me bananas.
I don't know
Um,
what you're doing.
the video screen for all of our viewers is just driving me insane. So I'm gonna take it off of autopilot.
You don't want to cover anything else before we go to break? Anything quickly?
We can. Well, yeah. You know what? We don't have a confirmation yet, so we'll do that. So, all right. We'll talk one story. Move on.
One story, and then
All
we'll
right.
move to break.
So Israel Israel, the country Israel, of course, is considering, well, they're considering a bill to ban conversion therapy. As we know, it has been a very hot topic here in the United States of America, and where conversion therapy has been used as a way to torture children in the LGBT community in the hopes that they would no longer be gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, or any of those amazing, beautiful beings that we are every day in our community. And so the government officials in Israel were gearing up to introduce a new bill in their legislative assembly that would ban conversion therapy. But according to some reports, there are leaders that put up the decision on hold as it continues to be reshaped and to appease some of the opposition. I'm a little torn about the story, right? We know how damaging conversion therapy is,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And there's a huge, huge gay community in Israel.
Oh, Tel Aviv is one of like the most like destination, one of the destination places to go to celebrate Pride.
I remember when my friend went on her, what's it called? Rum, rum, rum. When you go to Israel as for your as a Jewish person, you go there. What is it called?
I,
Rum something.
I don't know what they call it, but I know what you're talking about, right? As a rite of passage,
Yes,
when you are
she.
a teenager, you go to Israel and you
Let me
spend
tell you, 100%. She was sending me photos because she was there during Pride, and
uh-huh.
I was like, my ass needs to get on a goddamn plane because
Holy
holy
shit.
shit. What the fuck?
Yeah.
They were all so hot. She had one photo, she had her feet in the sand and she had a little pride flag next to it and she drew a heart in the sand and said, miss you or whatever. And I was just like, I never knew that about Israel until she went there and told
Tel
me about
Aviv,
it.
Tel Aviv is a very, very how would I say liberal city within Israel, right? And we all know that, when you think about the Middle East and when you think about the Holy Land, when you think about Jerusalem, when you think about all of these things that the Bible says, we we're basically a sin. We're walking sins. To see all of that be so nearby, and really, you can immerse yourself in that history. But to have a global city like Tel Aviv
Hmm.
do one of the biggest pride events ever
Yeah.
is amazing.
I think what's also really important to take away from this article, and I think we're seeing it both with Black Lives Matter
Hmm.
and with LGBTQ plus rights right now, is the fact that we're always constantly focusing on what's going on in our local and personal government. But I think it's important to note that, like, there are only 5 countries that have banned conversion therapy, and that's Germany, Malta, Ecuador, Brazil, and Taiwan.
That's right.
And in the United States, where it's not banned, only 20 states have actually officially banned it, and some only for minors. So not only do we have to be aware of what's going on
Internationally.
internationally, but we also have what's going on in America. We have to keep that in mind when we move forward because we have to continue not only to come out for the United States, but to come out for every other country in the world.
That's right. I mean, we have to set an example, and we've talked about the subject on our show
But
because
we're not right now.
it's very near and dear to our heart. But it's rough. It's rough being someone who is young and having to be submitted or subjected to this kind of treatment in the midst of one of your most, you know, emotional and hormonal periods of your life, and where you're confused to begin with as being a teenager. Can you imagine?
It doesn't fix anybody, it traumatizes them.
Pretty much, it's torture. So it should be, and I commend them for trying, and I hope that they succeed because I think it'll be a beautiful thing to have other countries jump on board and start banning conversion therapy for good because it serves no purpose. So, that being said, let me get this overlay ready. We're gonna take a break. We'll leave you with some music, and when we come back, we have Katie Sgarro joining us from Asylum Connect. Here we go.
head gets caught in the moment, but my heart doesn't know it. Heart doesn't know it. Somehow I'm lost in the lonely, but it's too hard to show it. Too hard to show it. Danse avec moi, danse avec moi, danse avec moi. Do I fall in? Do I fall in? Do I fall in? I travel down the west coast with sun on my shoulders. The sun's on my shoulders. My heart's a winding road, but I can't control it, and nobody knows it. Do I fall in love? 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 You are the one to open my eyes, and you are the one to make me think twice, and you are the one I wanna spend my life with. You are the one, you're looking so nice, and when I'm with you, I'm in paradise, spending my days thinking about you, baby. You are the one I wanna be with, and you're on my mind, I just can't forget you. You are the one I'm gonna spend my life with. Oh baby, do I fall in? Do I fall in love? Do I fall in? Do I, do I, do I, do I, do I, do I, do I fall in love? Do I, do I, do I, do I, do I, do I fall in? Do I fall in love? Do I fall in? So when I look at you, could jump in a swimming pool, stimulate my appetite. Look so very, very nice. Won't you come over and play? Like every day's a Saturday, and the sun's out. From Atlanta down to Florida, got your bare chest and you show it. You're sexy and you know it. You're sexy and you know it. So like a tall glass of water, got me thirsty, can't take my eyes off of you. When you're shirtless, when you're shirtless. And like a flashback to middle school, I lost my cool. I do. When you're shirtless, when you're shirtless. Pinch me, this feels like a dream. You're the best I ever seen. All your muscles and your veins, oh, they're driving me insane. Raise my hands and sing in praise, thanking God for what He made. And the sun's out. From Paris to New Orleans, you're tanning, you're golden, you're sexy and you know it. You're sexy and you know it. So like a tall glass of water, got me thirsty, can't take my eyes off of you. When you're shirtless, when you're shirtless. And like a flashback to middle school, I lost my cool. I do. When you're shirtless, when you're shirtless. When I come knocking at your door and you're shirtless, makes me nervous. You got me feeling insecure when you're shirtless. I get nervous when you're shirtless. Oh, ooh. Joe's me, it's getting hot in here. Is this a fantasy or a mirage in here? I have a pep talk to myself in the mirror, and I'm doing this. I'm brushing off my fears. From Atlanta down to Florida, got your bare chest and you show it. You're sexy, and you know it. You're sexy, and you know it. From Paris to New Orleans, you're tainted, you're golden. You're sexy, and you know it. You're sexy, and you know it. Like a tall glass of water when I'm with you, wanna take your picture when you're shirtless. When you're shirtless, make me nervous. So like a tall glass of water, got me thirsty, can't take myself on you. When you're shirtless, when you're shirtless. Like a flashback to middle school, I lost my cool, I do. When you're shirtless, when you're shirtless. When I come knocking at your door and you're shirtless, makes me nervous. You got me feeling insecure when you're shirtless. I get nervous when you're shirtless. When you're shirtless, and you know it. When you're shirtless, to New Orleans. When you're shirtless, and you know it. When you're shirtless, greeted by a new sunrise. Tomorrow's hopes are in my eyes. Paints horizons in the sky that's meant for me, meant for me. Ready now to face the day. Done with fears of yesterday. Waited long enough to say I'm on the way. I'm on the way. I believe. I believe. There is more to me than surface. I believe, I believe. Greeted by a new sunrise. Tomorrow's hopes are in my eyes. Paints horizons in the sky that's meant for me, meant for me. I believe in love at first sight. 'Cause some things are worth the fight. Some you learn to say goodbye, like letting go. I believe. I believe. More to me than surface. I believe, I
All right. right, welcome back from the break. Of course, that was Believe by Going Deeper, featuring, oh my God, I'm already speaking cursive, featuring Davis Mallory, of course, a previous guest of ours here on the show. Our guest tonight, of course, is Katie Sgarro. She is the co-founder of AsylumConnect, an online resource to assist those seeking asylum from countries that persecute LGBTQ peoples. Thank you, Katie, so much for joining us on today's show. Um, I think that we're going to have an amazing conversation because this resource is going to be incredible for members of our community globally. Welcome to the show.
Awesome. And thank you so much for having me. Really excited to be here.
Super excited to have you. I can't see you on the screen. And now, just to let you know, the video is not broadcasted to anyone in our streams anywhere. I don't know if that's something that's possible.
Oh,
There we
hey.
go. Hey. Yeah, so we're the only ones that can see you.
Yeah, I mean, people have to see how fat I've gotten during COVID, so don't worry about it. You're not going to be seen.
So, Katie, it is wonderful to have you on the show. So, first and foremost, before we get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we can move in and talk about AsylumConnect.
Awesome, definitely. So my name's Katie Sgarro. I'm co-founder and executive director of AsylumConnect. I'm also a member of the LGBTQ community. So I actually co-founded AsylumConnect in college, and since then I've been trying to advocate for the LGBTQ community, especially people that are often overlooked, such as LGBTQ asylum seekers. So the cause really resonates with me. I'm just really passionate about LGBTQ rights.
That's amazing. So, are you familiar with Adafi Akporo by any
I am.
chance?
Yeah.
So, I'll tell you a little story. So, we had him on the show, and he told us about his story, and it was just incredible. I mean, he literally had the entire team here in tears.
Yeah.
It was a very profound and truly awakening experience to have a conversation with him and his journey from from West Africa coming into the US. And I was just like, and he mentioned your organization as a resource. And so, which is why it's like, we needed to have someone in your organization come in and talk about the great work that you're doing for members of our community worldwide. But before we move forward, I'm Tom.
Oh my God,
case
he's
you didn't
doing
know.
my job. That's normally what I do.
And
I stop him and I'm like, hi. So,
and this is Nick. And we have other people that normally join us. They're missing today. Unfortunately, they couldn't make today's broadcast, but we're here. And welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
so I want to learn a little bit more about AsylumConnect. So what is it and how does it function?
Definitely. So it's the world's first tech resource platform designed specifically for people who are fleeing persecution due to their sexual orientation or gender identity. So an LGBTQ asylum seeker, an undocumented LGBTQ immigrant, or even a homeless LGBTQ youth who may be fleeing persecution not between borders, but between their home. And it basically functions as a digital one-stop shop where if I'm, for instance, an LGBTQ asylum seeker looking for legitimate pro bono legal representation, I can find that using AsylumConnect. In addition, medical, mental health, and social services, all of which have been verified to not only be immigrant friendly, but also LGBTQ affirming. So it really is the world's first tech resource platform designed specifically for this community. And since we launched it, the pilot in 2016, we've been expanding across 25 US states and actually expanded to Canada last year in response to the Trump administration's policies.
So what is your reach right now? How many people have you actually helped?
Yeah, so the platform's actually been accessed by, I think it's 24,000 people in America. So we're just trying to get the word out, especially as we continue to expand by state, because we think that this could have a really enormous impact because LGBTQ asylum seekers specifically just aren't given government assistance or not matched with a free attorney. So you're really kind of at the community support. So to have an information digital one-stop shop of organizations that are supportive and can help this community, I just think is really essential.
So if I were seeking asylum and I were to go on to AsylumConnect, download the app and or go to the website and I need to get out, what is the first step I take?
Yeah, so I think something to be clear about is that AsylumConnect more focused on resettlement services. So once you actually reach the United States, once you've reached Canada, people that are trapped in dangerous environments, the organization that I recommend is Rainbow Railroad. So it specializes in getting people physically out. And then AsylumConnect comes in once people have landed and don't know where it's safe to go for help in their new home. People in other countries, they can use AsylumConnect to help plan their resettlement. So, for instance, if you know that you're coming to New York, you can plan like this is the LGBTQ shelter that I'll go to. This is where I'll go to for food. This is where I'll get a lawyer as soon as I step foot. But we don't provide direct travel support because it's just not our specific focus. And organizations like Rainbow Railroad do that.
So I went on your website and I was looking at some of the statistics that you're posting there. There's a lot of alarming statistics that are really eye-opening. So, for example, you're noting here that currently there are about 70 countries that still criminalize homosexuality and or homosexual conduct. There are 6 countries that currently have the death penalty for violating such laws, and the number of cases that you currently have backlogged in the U.S. are significant. I mean, you've got over, I would say, probably a good million cases that are currently backlogged. So when you think about Asylum Connect and you think about the service that it provides, how important is it for people to donate and go seek and help and assist in this process?
Yeah, it's 100% so important, especially with the current administration and the newest asylum regulation that recently came out, which basically is trying to dismantle the entire U.S. asylum system. Specifically, goes against gender-based claims of asylum, which targets transgender people, for instance, people
Hmm.
fleeing violence. It's just extremely problematic. So I think there's a lot going on in the world, but this is extremely important. And I think that the LGBTQ community specifically needs to be alarmed because LGBTQ asylum seekers, when you're resettling, you have less choices than a non-LGBTQ person because you don't just need to find a country that's immigrant friendly, but also LGBTQ affirming. And the United States, while not perfect, it still, is one of the best countries in the world to be LGBTQ.
But on top of that as well, I mean, you have people coming from all different countries, right? So we locally have an organization. It's called Iris. It's for Syrian refugees to help them integrate into the new society that they're a part of, because that's a huge part of being a refugee. You're moving from everything you've ever known. How do you integrate yourself? There are resources for that as well with this app, correct?
Yeah, that is our focus is resettlement support and making the distinction between just an immigrant and LGBTQ immigrant who needs to face not just all the obstacles that an asylum seeker would face, but also that LGBTQ discrimination on top of it. So that is really why we started it. My co-founder actually was an LGBTQ asylum seeker himself. We both studied at Penn together, and the initial idea for the app really came from him coming to America as a young gay man and really struggling to know where it was safe to go for not just legal representation, but also those LGBTQ affirming and free, like medical, mental health, and social services that anyone would need when resettling. Such a platform just didn't exist. And when I heard about that, I was extremely surprised because it's such a simple idea with so much impact. And again, for LGBTQ asylum seekers, but also for people who might be undocumented and identify as LGBTQ, for LGBTQ dreamers, and we see a large potential with homeless LGBTQ youth as well, who might have access to technology, but again, just lack that information on where can I go in my local community, because there thankfully are places that
Right.
can help.
Of course. And so we're talking globally, but also also nationally. Let's talk a little bit because we have places like, Utah. We have places in the Midwest. We have places in the deep South where people are being persecuted, people are not feeling welcome, they're being kicked out of their homes. They're 12 to 14 or 15. They can use this as well, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
That's amazing.
The-
It's incredible. So, again, going back to our conversation with Adafi, it's like when he was describing the all of the resources that are available that are being used currently by his organization in New York. when he mentioned Asylum Connect, we were like, okay, we need to connect with these entities because it is vital information that our community needs to know about. And how does how did so you're the co-founder of this. What drove you to create such an amazing service for members of our community?
Definitely. So it actually has like a very personal connection to me, even though I'm not an asylum seeker. So when I actually met my friend and classmate at Penn who was seeking LGBTQ asylum, I actually wasn't out myself. I come from a more conservative family, and I think he told me his own story just as a friend, and I think it really just put things in perspective for me. I knew I was gay since I was 11, and I just didn't, have the environment to come out until like I was 22. But I just really felt like this is something that I can do. I'm fortunate to live in a country where I'm not going to face the death penalty if I do this. I might face some hardships, but it won't be, nearly as bad as what some people like Jeffrey overcome. So I decided during my senior year of college to basically like publicly come out to attract attention to the organization, and then I've been leading it ever since. So to me, it's quite personal, and I think I've been fortunate to work with people like Jeffrey who have tremendous stories, and it's a huge source of inspiration for me in the, I think, 5 years that I've been doing this.
That's
So
that's amazing.
it really is amazing, and thank you for coming out and being part of our community. We love you. You're beautiful. Now, I want to talk a little bit about. So we have an amazing, amazing local Pride Center here that is doing amazing work and really digging into the community and helping them currently right now with food drives, with just homelessness and everything. What what are you guys doing to connect with all of those local chapters to really, connect people to them?
Yeah, so we actually have a suggest new resource form right on our app and our website. So we love when organizations suggest themselves or when a local community member will suggest an organization that they know because they live in that community. That's the fastest way to get on our website. You can also email us at hello@asylumconnect.org, and our trained data entry and outreach coordinators will add those organizations. And then in addition, we actually have like ratings and review system so that we're making sure that these resources are safe on top of all the internal verifications that we do because safety is our main priority.
Absolutely. So, so you reach out, or these organizations may be able to reach out to your organization, and you guys connect and verify and make sure that everything is up to date. If I am an asylum seeker and trying to relocate because I'm in danger, w- I know that Nick had asked what is the first step that you take, but then once you're here, what should you keep in mind, and what should you be following up on? And do you still serve as an intermediary between the person once they're here via the app or through your organization?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think if you're seeking asylum in the United States, there are several things that you should be aware of. The first is the U.S. 1 year asylum deadline. Basically, once you hit the soil, you only have 1 year to file an asylum application. So the first kind of help that we advise people to seek is direct legal services. Immigration Equality is a great organization for that. I think that's actually where IDFA goes. It's where like 90%, I would say, of the LGBTQ asylum seekers I've worked with have gone for legal help. So I definitely recommend them.
So
And then
that was Immigration Equality.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So they're great. And then in terms of medical, social services, etc., housing is a huge need. So making sure that you have a safe place while you're going through the asylum process, because obviously, in having an attorney is so important to seek asylum and to win asylum protection. But if you don't have a roof over your head and you don't feel safe, then unfortunately, what happens to some people is that you face deportation, what sometimes people call voluntary deportation, because they're homeless and they really just they can't survive here through the months and the years that it takes to win an asylum case.
Do you have this is a random and just a thought and thinking while you're speaking, but do you have like families and or organizations you work with to help house individuals?
So EJF's organization is a good example because his is the first homeless shelter in New York City that's focused on asylum seekers. So his organization would actually be listed directly in our app. And then we tend to also list like a lot of LGBTQ drop-in centers across the country to make sure that people are aware of them. Because honestly, I feel like half the battle is just connecting people that, are coming to this country, maybe have like a translation barrier, et cetera, just wouldn't be able to find this sort of information on Google. A lot of these organizations won't have like a heavy web presence, and they won't have money to pour into SEO. And then connect them with the great organizations on the ground that can provide services like housing. That's really our mission. That's the information gap that we fill.
But what if there were families? Because I know plenty of families that were, like, for example, taking an exchange student, right? What if a family wanted to host somebody? Is that something that you guys actually do?
That's not something we do right now for safety reasons. It would be a little bit more difficult on our end to vet an individual, like an individual family versus an individual, like an organization. However, there's, I think, opportunity. I'm not going to commit to anything, but there's an opportunity moving forward, I think, especially in the more conservative states where there are just less organizations. As an organization ourselves, we always think about how can we fill these gaps, because I think, we're identifying where the service gaps are in this country, and then we want to make policy change to make sure that those gaps are filled by direct service providers.
Wow. This is literally the most amazing thing. I know last week we were talking with our other co-host, Chris, and he was so excited to be here and talk to you about this. And it's so sad that he can't be here right now. But my mind is blown because, I mean, you look at the world right now and you look at what's going on, especially if you think about Syria or, any of these countries where honor killings are actually being allowed and pushed forward. It's like we've needed this for so long, and it's finally really there and coming out and helping people, and that is so beautiful.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And I hope that this is only the beginning, and I hope that it should be worldwide eventually. Have plans to scale hopefully to Western Europe. A lot of LGBTQ asylum seekers will resettle there, especially given the current climate in America. So I have high hopes for it. So I hope it's just.
So you said recently that you recently partnered with Canada, and Canada, as we know, has always been that lifeline for a lot of asylum seekers, even people that came to this country seeking asylum that all of a sudden faced the realization that they could be deported because of the current administration, were then going to Canada. How hard was it to establish and work with Canada in that partnership?
Yeah, I think it was more difficult in the United States as a U.S. based organization because we don't have the local connections that our volunteers and staff members bring. So I think for us, it was plugging into Canadian-based organizations and then relying on that referral network. But it's something that we're still actively working on. How do we spread the word in Canada? Should we go through LGBTQ media outlets? Should we be emailing direct service providers that aren't listed in our app more frequently? These are all considerations that we are looking at. And I think especially given the current administration, and I think and hopefully it will not be implemented, but if the new asylum regulation is implemented in America, I do think our shift will kind of move a little bit more towards Canada. And then in addition, we're actually working on launching a native bilingual Spanish and English version of our tech resource platform for LGBTQ asylum seekers in Mexico. Because as I'm sure you've heard, the Remain in Mexico policy is still in effect, and it's forcing so many people, including LGBTQ individuals, to wait in Mexico. So we have a bilingual volunteer team working on that right now.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. It truly is. I'm bilingual myself. I'm of Puerto Rican descent, and I was born here in the U.S., but my parents, of course, were from Puerto Rico, and I know a lot of people that could use the resources that something like your programming and your app would provide. How can we help? How can our community and members of our listeners and members of our community help your endeavor?
And just to piggyback on that, because that's exactly where I was going next, your organization is a 501(c) nonprofit, which means you're operating on donations 100%. I assume 100% because your app and or your website is free. So what is your operation budget? Are there memberships? How do people donate? How can we give back to you guys?
Definitely. From the fundraising stream, we are primarily funded through grants and through individual donors. So every bit helps. We're a small organization. It's just actually myself, a full-time staff member, and then 2 part-time employees and a large team of volunteers at this point. We have, I think, over 30 volunteers in addition to summer interns helping us out. So we are looking for more fundraising, more tax-deductible donations in order to hire more staff, especially as we're looking at expanding across this country and internationally. So there's a few ways you can do that. You can go on our website and just make a one-time donation, which is very much appreciated. You can also join our annual giving club, which has different benefits, and you can read more about it on our website as well. And then I think from an advocacy perspective, in terms of the new asylum regulation, the LGBTQ community, it could really be super helpful to look at like the open comment period. Basically, when the Trump administration proposed the new asylum regulation, there's a public open comment period and through July 15th. And every single public comment that's submitted, the Trump administration legally needs to review and respond to. So our partner, Immigration Equality, is actually kind of setting up a comments template so that anyone, like whether or not you're a lawyer, can use that template to leave a comment opposing this legislation. And that's extremely important because it helps to slow down the legislation because they need to review it and leave a comment and respond. So basically, I would really advise to watch both AsylumConnect social media and Immigration Equality social media for that comments template, because that's so important to make sure that LGBTQ asylum seekers can still legally seek asylum.
And what are your handles for social media for everybody?
Yeah, it's just at AsylumConnect. And then I believe Immigration Equality, it's sometimes at Immigration Equality and sometimes at I Equality.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Do you have anything else, or?
No, I think, I've got the gist of what you're doing. I have to say, Katie, congratulations to you in successfully launching such an endeavor, because I know that the good work that you and your people at AsylumConnect are doing are going to save countless lives in the process. And it is a very vital and essential service, because we know, as your website stated, there's still 70 plus countries in this world that are persecuting people just for being who we are. And that is unacceptable. And I think that as an international community, services like yours and organizations like yours are helping to bring awareness to the fact that this is still happening.
100%. And I think also, as a previously fundraiser, I'm not fundraising currently, but for my birthday, I will definitely make sure that you are my Facebook fundraiser. But my last question for you, and I ask everybody this, is what are your hopes and dreams for this app? Like this website, what do you want to see happen in the next year, 5 years?
I really just want to see it reach its full potential. I want to make sure that every LGBTQ asylum seeker, undocumented LGBTQ immigrant, homeless LGBTQ youth knows about it, because I've just talked to so many people and they're like, this would have been so helpful when I was seeking asylum or when I had to leave my house due to my parents not accepting me. So my vision is just to make sure that it is available and free to each and every person that needs it. And that will constitute a national expansion of reaching all 50 US states, in addition to the international expansion that I mentioned of Canada, Mexico, and then hopefully Europe as well.
That's amazing. Katie, my friend, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. I think that the work that you're doing, again, is going to change countless lives. Keep doing that work. We're going to try to support as best we can. We'll get the word out. We'll put some information on our website with your permission, of course. And thank you. Thank you for doing what you're doing, because it is, and truly it is important.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're part of the Gay Talk family now. We'll have you back soon.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Well, ladies and gents, again, as we said before, that was Katie Sgarro. She's the co-founder of AsylumConnect. It sounds like we need to get wholeheartedly behind this effort to help our brothers and sisters. We've talked about this so many times.
Well,
we think about, what we have to do for our Chechen brothers and sisters in Chechnya that are still suffering at the hands of just horrible people going through all of this. But
yeah, no, and I was just saying that New Haven is an asylum city,
That's right.
So we need to connect the Pride Center to this organization, and that will definitely be one of my things that I'm going to do.
That's right. So, for our friends over at the Pride Center, Patrick Dunn, the executive director, and all the beautiful people that are doing amazing work at our local Pride Center, keep in mind, we'll be reaching out to you.
And I think it's also, I want to reiterate that they are, again, a 501(c) nonprofit organization. So they are functioning 100% on grants and or individual donations. If you do decide to make a donation, that is tax deductible. So your money, that if you can make any donation, no donation is too small or too large.
Yeah.
It's tax deductible and it's saving lives.
Yeah.
So just think about it. I mean, there are so many really amazing organizations, and this is one of them that really needs your support.
And just to put things into perspective, I mean, according to some of the stats that they have on their site, the cost of quality legal representation for an asylum seeker can be anywhere between $6,000 and $15,000. So, the more people can donate, even if it's just, grassroots, $5 here and there, the more money they could have to be able to use these kind of resources and help these people make it to safety. And it's just a beautiful thing. Wow. I'm just like amazing. I'm literally going to download that app now, if it's available on iTunes, and make sure that I follow and see where this endeavor is going, and because it would be amazing. So I encourage that you do the same. If you guys can, whatever you can. I know that it's a little difficult right now, given the situation, but we all have from time to time a dollar here, a dollar there.
Yeah, I have no money. I'm gonna make sure that I give $5 because I can. And that just imagine $5 from 50 people, $5 from 500 people. That's really what matters, and it makes a difference.
There it
And
is.
holy crap, that is such an amazing thing. Like, I had no idea that there was a service out there like that. I mean, I know that there are local services here that are doing a lot for outreach and a lot for refugees, but specifically LGBTQAI plus, like it's
huge. And I want to thank Dafi Akpora, of course. He brought us an amazing interview. We talked about his story, his story of immigrating here to the U.S. as an asylum seeker, and all of the resources that he's providing. And his story really has changed a lot of people's lives. And being in contact with a lot of companies, or excuse me, organizations, not companies, private or excuse me,
you'll get there.
organizations like AsylumConnect is truly amazing. And so we need to make sure that we support them in any way, which way we can. All right, so we've got a couple of things that we could discuss.
Sure.
Shall I toss it to you to continue? Because we still got a couple of stories that we wanted to talk about the dish. There's been a lot of stuff happening on TV. And, when things get sour, things go crazy, we all need to disconnect and sort of kind of go into this virtual or like sort of kind of like imaginary realm. And TV does that amazingly for us. So maybe I'll talk about it. There's a show on Netflix. It's called The Politician. Right. And if you're not aware, Ben Platt is one of the main protagonists on the show. Well, there's others, but, and especially now with the one that just came on season 2, she sort of kind of trumps everybody, in my view. So Trumps pretty much. Yeah. Stomps. You don't know me. Anyway, Bette Midler has joined the second season of The Politician, of course, as she's a powerhouse. She has done everything from movies to Broadway to music, and now she's on Netflix, of course, as a co-host of The Politician, and she's incredible. That woman just amazes me.
Yeah, we'll throw the trailer up on our post tonight, but I watched the entire first season, and I actually told Tom earlier that I was going to start the second season today, but then I knew I wouldn't make the show.
Yeah. I was like, you can't leave me by myself. We've already got 2 people down for the count. You must show up.
But it's pretty amazing. I mean, it really it doesn't there are LGBTQ plus aspects there and characters throughout the show and threaded through the show, but it's more than that. It's really it dives into kind of like the ugly, unseen politics and like what happens behind closed doors. And this is like coming from like a kid that's running for student president, I think. Yeah,
student body in season 1 or something like that.
But like it's pretty. It sucks you in. It's an amazing show. You should totally check it out. It can be heavy, but it's a great watch.
Yeah, I think it's always fantastic to see characters, bring these stories to life because they're just incredible. And Bette Midler is just one of those people for me. She is the ultimate diva for me when it comes to, I mean, they called her Bathhouse Betty for God's sakes. I mean, the woman sang for gay men in bathhouses in New York
Well, I mean,
when
Ben
she
Platt's
was,
also a gay man too, which is really
well,
important.
he is. Yes. Yes, he is. And more power to Ben Platt, but I love Bette Midler. I'm sorry.
I love them
And
both.
so, well, and they're both equally talented and gifted and
Yeah.
beautiful voices.
And I don't know if we talked about it on the show, I'm sure, but like Ben Platt has an album out. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Check it out. Like his album, it's kind of it gives me a little bit of a Sam Smith vibe where he's like kind of looking for love. But like
Nick is looking for love too.
yeah,
Just
but
letting
just
you know
don't
that.
look at the camera when he says that, because right now it's like a bouncy ball.
Show us your shirt really quick. Show us your shirt really quick. So he's got a shirt on. It says science is real. Black lives matter. No human is illegal. Love is love. I can't read the rest. I'm like, my eyesight is not that great.
Love is love. Women's rights are human rights.
And
Kindness is everything.
That's right. And so that's awesome. I love that shirt. Thank you for wearing it.
Yeah, no, actually, I bought it. I bought it for myself and my roommate. I bought him the same one, mainly because like it is Pride Month, and I don't have a Black Lives Matter shirt, and there's some weird part of me that didn't want to just. I wanted to honor everything together because there are so many issues, and this shirt popped up, and I was like, I'm gonna buy that because like
it spoke to you.
Yeah, it spoke to me, and it's speaking to everything that's going on, and so no,
It's beautiful. I love
and
it.
nothing else
I love
fits me. So
So, keeping with the theme and the topic, of course, on June 18th, Love Victor was
I
released
binged
on
the whole thing.
Hulu, I believe, right? It was on Hulu, and I'm into episode 5, I believe, and I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone, even though I do all that kind of shit on my social media. I like to spoil shit for people, and especially like the ending of Endgame, which was like, oh my god, I almost got murdered. People showed up at my door, but it's an amazing show, but I can't connect to it in the way that I would have hoped I could have, only because it's a 16-year-old teen love story, right? And I'm 41 years old, so it's kind of hard for me to connect on the love aspect of a 16-year-old. But I will tell you this: the messaging, the importance behind what's being communicated on Hulu and on all of these like major movie studios and studios like Netflix and Hulu that are creating this content for the children and for teenagers growing up today.
I hear what you're saying about connecting to.
I'm going to watch the whole thing, right? Because it is my obligation and my duty as a gay man to support a show on a network that's advocating for gay rights and for gay visibility. So I'm watching the whole thing. I'm going to go balls to the wall all the way in and finish it, because it is important for us to do that. But what it's doing for our youth, it is super amazing.
But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, like when I watched the whole thing, and I absolutely loved it.
I love it too.
I didn't
Don't
think
get me wrong.
I didn't think it was as campy as I thought it would be. But I think what I loved most about it is, every one of us went through what Victor is going through on the show. There are elements that certain people went through differently, like we talked about earlier. I mean, he's in a Puerto Rican family, Mexican family,
actually Colombian.
But
I caught that Puerto Rican flag in his room. Wrong country.
But the point,
I'm just saying.
The point is, it's like the struggles of coming out. If I had the ability at 14 to watch,
he's 16 in the show, I believe.
But if I was 14 or 15 watching that show, because I knew I was gay at 14.
Of course.
But I didn't come out until I was 15 or 16, pretty much 16. But like, if I could have watched that show, it would have changed my perspective, and it would have given me strength. And I think that is what's so beautiful about all of these shows that are coming out. And there's a lot. I mean, also, I mean, even if you have like, for example, I have Comcast, and they just released an email, and now they have these new remotes where you can speak into them, and so you just say pride, and it pulls up a whole listing of everything.
Of course, she was gonna go for Pride first. She was like, "I'm gonna test these bitches. I'm gonna see how homophobic they really are."
Well, no,
Pride, boom.
but what they said in the email was pretty important. It wasn't just they're like, they released this like thing during June, but then they reiterated that Pride isn't just about June, and that it will always be there. So if it is February and you want to speak Pride into your remote and watch something about a documentary, you want to watch a funny movie, you want to watch something about the gay community, it will be there for you. And I think that there's something so powerful about the way that media is really shifting and saying, hey, we need to tell these stories.
And one of the amazing things about Love Victor is the fact that, during Love Simon, and it's a tribute to Love Simon, and Victor is actually reaching out to Simon and having communication back and forth with Simon regarding his experience in Simon's old hometown. One of the most beautiful things to see is the fact that you're looking at a brown family, a Latino family, and the challenges and the issues that happen and how that evolves within a Latino family. And so immediately I connected in that aspect. Again, because I'm 41 years old, I cannot really connect to a 16-year-old love story.
Wait, how old are you?
Bitch, 41. Don't go there. I will cut you. But as far as everything else, like, I can remember back in my teen years and feeling that anxiety and feeling the experiences that you see Victor going through in this amazing show. So here's what I say to you. If you're a parent and you have a child that you suspect may be going through the figuring out themselves and you really don't know how to approach the subject, first reach out to your local LGBTQ Center for resources and ways to be able to do that. But make them watch Love Victor.
You don't even have to make them watch, just kind of like nonchalantly have it on in the background.
Yeah, just put it on and sort of kind of, that will sort of kind of stir the conversation in the right direction.
And also make your child feel comfortable enough to say, oh my God, after maybe the 5th episode, Mom, that's me.
Yeah, like totally me. And not only that, it's really a good educational experience for adults that may have not been raised in the ideal era and that are still holding on to preconceived notions of, how religion and homosexuality don't really mix and yada, yada, yada. And
it shows you what the kid goes through.
oh yeah, it really shows you from a parental perspective what you could be potentially putting your child through, and you might find some insightful
but not even
ways to conversate with your child and with your family members.
But not even from a parental perspective. From that, yes, but like also like there are so many influences outside the home that are affecting kids and affecting people in general, and it kind of highlights that too.
Yes.
And I think that as a parent, you have an obligation not only to honor what's happening inside the home, but what's happening outside of the home. And I think that this show, I mean, we are like legit pulling this like it's like a rubber band that's gonna snap, but like but it has the potential to make parents realize that like, oh shit, if I think my child might be a part of this community, how is the world affecting him every day, or
That's
them every day, or her every day?
But you see how so that's how amazing the show is. You've got a 30-something-year-old and a 40-something-year-old like literally debating how impactful a show like this is. But we've said this before on the show. What we're seeing right now, representation and how the LGBT community is being portrayed in TV in a positive light. Even Elcida said this on the show many times. It's beautiful to see the transformation, right? We're no longer this stereotype that is being pushed on American media. You're starting to see really juicy, like real life representation of what people in the LGBT community
You're-
go through.
You're
It's
finally seeing mainstream shows and movies
and
that
characters that represent, real.
that aren't just going to the Tribeca Film Festival. Don't get me wrong, amazing film festival, but that are being released mainstream, and
That's right.
that is what is important.
Are you playing footsies with me?
No, I just stretched out my feet.
Yeah, I know. I just tapped her foot. So it's a beautiful thing. So if you get a chance, go to Hulu, watch Love Victor, and go watch Love Simon because they were both equally good.
And if you want a good rom-com,
Of course, I knew this was coming.
if you want a really good rom-com, The Thing About Harry, and I keep talking about it. I literally love that movie. It is so good. I've watched, I don't even know how many times. It's just such a good, it's like, I finally saw a rom-com about a gay couple that made sense and was real and like
Made sense in what way though? Like,
because
what is the biggest thing you
everybody
took away
has
from?
everybody has preconceptions of what a relationship is and what a relationship needs to be. And not only does the show tackle that, but it tackles the fact that this is a gay couple.
Yeah.
And that is what is so powerful to me. And also it tackles the fact that you can be whoever you want to be. You want to be a stay-at-home dad? Be a stay-at-home dad.
That's right.
You want to be a politician? You can be gay and be a politician. You can do whatever you want and be part of the LGBTQ plus community. It tackles all of those things in such a romantically like heart-wrenching but positive way. Like it's just it's a great rom-com. Like I just love
and
it.
she's the queen of rom-coms.
I
She
really am, yeah.
loves like, so you know how Hans Hershey is the like queen of unconventional endings? She's the queen of rom-com.
And Hans Hershey's books.
Yes, like I think that Ron, oh my God, Hans should totally do you as like one of his characters.
Oh God.
You would have so much fucking material, Hans. Seriously, so much fucking material. Like, sit down with this bitch, go through, pick her brain, and write a fucking book. It'll be a bestseller.
I've always wanted to have somebody write a book about me.
Yeah, just get someone who could really do like, what do you call that? The artist who does the. Oh my God, I forgot about that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
When the illustrator, just make sure the illustrator gets her right. Eyes, hair, everything.
Minus
Because if
15
not-
pounds.
Because if not, you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's over.
I want approval.
All right. So listen, we are going to wrap this up and bring it home. It's been an amazing episode.
I thought you were going to say we were going to break, but I guess we're going to close.
You want to go to break
No,
again?
I literally thought that's what you were about to say.
No, we're going. We're bringing this home, baby girl. All right, so we're gonna jump into Mama Kim's minute. It's a little, how would I say, docile in the studio today without the other characters in there, but we're okay with that.
I feel like it's good.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's all right. So we're gonna jump into Mama Kim's minute. I feel like I should get you a timer because Chris.
I don't
is not
need to
here
be
do
timed
it.
anymore.
I know. Well, we're gonna time you anyway, and let's see. Go.
All right, everybody, here's Mama Kim's minute. So number 1, Farmers Market Karen goes off on cookie vendor for giving away rainbow flags. Fuck Karen. Number 2, Walking Dead star Kari Payton is proud of his trans son. Love you. Number 3, 21 years after I was fired for being gay, the Supreme Court finally ruled that it's not okay. 4, the Supreme Court rules in favor of LGBTQ plus immigrants by upholding Obama's DACA program. That's Mama Kim's minute, everybody.
And it was really 30 seconds, but that's what it was. There's a lot to unpack in all of those stories. Obviously, we're not going to do that because we're short for time, but we are going to post them on tonight's post. They'll be under the Mama Kim's Minute header, and you can click on those stories, read on them. They're amazing. She's amazing. Thank you for being our unofficial correspondent, or like, what do you call that? National correspondent, right? She like goes out and finds stories for us and sends them our way. You're awesome.
Coming to you from California, it's Mama Kim's Minute.
That's right. All right, so we have our GayTalk Term. Do you want to do the GayTalk Term, or should I? Because you're doing on this day in gay.
Yeah, you take it.
All right, so the GayTalk Term today is,
It's, of course, brought to you by
gay real estate. Did I fuck it up already?
Yeah, you did.
What
Just
was
start
it?
again.
All right.
Ready?
All right. Well, Today's Gay Talk Terms is brought to you by, of course.
GayRealEstate.com.
No, I thought we were going to change it during the last episode.
Oh, but we're not going to do that this week.
All right, so this Gay Talk Term is, of course, brought to you by
GayRealEstate.com.
There we go. Now we got it. All right, it's called Dirt. What is dirt? It is a homosexual that robs his partners. Used in a sentence, it is said that LA is just crawling with gay dirt. They pull down your panties, they suck you off, and pick your pocket all in one blow.
Don't know anybody like that.
That sounds like Paul Anthony.
But anyway, so on this day in gay history, of course, brought to you by GayRealEstate.com. When June 22nd, 2011, where Nepal, first shelter for South Asians LGBTQ people, announced. A non-governmental organization in Nepal, the Blue Diamond Society, says they will create the LGBT Center for South Asia to offer shelter for battered lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender and queer people from Nepal's surrounding countries. The founder of the NGO, Sunil
It's okay.
Bhupant, is also Nepal's openly gay member of parliament at this time.
That's awesome.
It
That's
is.
seriously
Sorry,
freaking awesome.
I murdered that name.
Yes, you did.
Like
That's
real
okay.
bad.
We'll forgive you.
Sunil Babu Pant.
Would you like some lube?
Yes. All right.
All right. So, ladies and gents, thank you so much for tuning in today. If you love our show, make sure that you go subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting service. By doing so, you allow us to bring you the latest and greatest of our show and deliver it right to your favorite device or web browser as soon as our episodes are published. You can also support us on Patreon, which is a service that allows you, our listeners, to donate to our show. All monetary donations can be in any denomination of $1 or more, and we collect those on a monthly basis. So for those of you who have, thank you. And Nicholas.
I've got another name to butcher right now.
Oh, Lord.
All right. So next week we are welcoming David Ajami.
Ajimi, I think?
Ajimi, author of Lot 6. In a world where everyone is inventing themselves, curating a feed of and performing a fantasy of life, what does it mean to be a person? With his grandly entertaining debut memoir, playwright David, I'm not going to say the last name again, explores how human beings create themselves and how artists make their lives into art.
That's amazing. We're super excited to have him on the show next week.
And that just means I have another book to read.
That's right. Of course. And of course, I want to thank our guest tonight, Katie Sgarro. She is, again, the co-founder of AsylumConnect. We will post a link to the web information for AsylumConnect on tonight's post, along with all other pertinent information. Thank you, Katie, for joining us. The information that you shared on today's show truly will save countless lives, and we're truly appreciative for you joining us today.
And don't forget, you can get your discount for the future method today. Each time you clean out with water or enemas, delicate tissues are harmed and cells are damaged, increasing chances of injury and or STDs. The first of its kind, doctor-developed formula that gently cleanses before you play without hurting your bum. And now you can get it when you use code GayTalk20 for 20% off, valid for one purchase or one subscription per person. Should we put a rubber on it?
Can you tell that it hasn't been used? I've been in quarantine for months.
Oh my God.
But when I'm ready, girl, I'm going to flush it all out. Anyway. All right, so can we?
Yeah, let's put a rubber on it. I'm just going to take the next two things. So our show is available on our website, gaytalk20.com, under show and episodes. It's also available as a free download on iTunes, Google Play Music, and Stitcher Radio.
She can read.
I also just announced, but I'm going to announce again, that you can find us on social media, Facebook, GayTalk 2.0, Instagram, GayTalk 2.0, Twitter at GayTalk20. You can email us at gaytalk2.0@gmail.com. Tom, don't fuck it up.
And if you need to reach out to us, you can do so by going to our website, clicking on the Contact Us tab located at the top of the web browser. There you can leave comments, you can suggest topics, or you can submit a question for the cast, or an individual host, or you can call us by calling 334-GAY-TALK. And if you need all the digits...
Told you not to fuck it up.
Fuck you. Fuck you. I hate her. If you need all those digits,
I'm just going to take it. 334-429-8255. Tom, you want to reiterate?
Yes, 334-429-8255. I cannot with her. All right, listen, you can, don't forget that our show is available. And we do stream live every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can access that live stream by visiting digitalstreamradio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is our show, and y'all have a good night. Bye!
Thank you for listening to this episode of GayTalk 2.0. Tune in next time for more dish.